Hi, one more real life story. That's why the group of videos is called RLS, Real Life Stories. Some of you who have known me for years or decades have probably noticed how I wrestled with self esteem, a lack of self esteem, and how in 1988 I finally sought help, serious help, through the Employee Assistance Program at Chubb and started getting some direction. Well, this was an extension of the work that was being done both through working with psychologists and then also getting into recovery, 12-step recovery. At first, it was ACOA for 5 years, and then I switched over to many years with Al Anon, something I really believe in. But this is a story where in 1993, Debbie, my first wife, and I took the children down to Walt Disney World. And Debbie and I had been there once before, so we kind of knew a little bit of what it was like. And yet, going there with children, very quickly, I had no idea what I was experiencing. But only with hindsight and with some professional help did I realize what was going on. I was experiencing acute symptoms of PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. No doubt because of the difficult, violent upbringing in my family of origin. Anyway, walking through Disney World, I started reliving experiences that I'd had years before, many years before, with all the crowds, the noise, the lights, the stimulation. I was re-experiencing. That's why these are acute symptoms. I was re-experiencing being 6 years old in the Philadelphia Zoo, walking through there after my mother and father fought all the way, and once again, Mom always lost any discussion, any argument. But by the time we got to the Philadelphia Zoo, I was in tatters. I was in shambles. Here I am as an adult with my children walking through Disney World, and I am re-experiencing, as if I was living it again, the feelings of being at the Philadelphia Zoo. At other times, I was re-experiencing walking through the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia. We lived in Levittown, Pennsylvania at the time, from the time I was 3 years old until I was 9. And then we moved to Middletown, New Jersey. But I was going through Walt Disney World, 1993, and I was re-experiencing the fear, the terror as an adult that I had at the Franklin Institute, completely overwhelmed with the noise, the lights, the crowds, everything. The overstimulation literally caused me to feel the exact feelings again. At other times, it was the same as when I was about 11 or 12 and went to the New York World's Fair. Again, the crowds, the lights, the stimulation, the noise, overwhelming. Here I am as the father, feeling like a little kid. And I'm sure Debbie realized that she had a fourth child on her hands down there at Walt Disney World. I couldn't help it. I didn't go looking for this. I was a grown man with children of my own. What was happening to me? Was I losing my mind? It was only after getting back home and trying to explain to the counselor that I was seeing at the time what I felt and what seemed to have happened that he explained that it sounds like flashbacks of traumatic experiences from my past. And only as he started to talk about that did I realize, wow, my youngest daughter was 6, my son was 8, and my oldest daughter was 11. The exact ages where I experienced these traumatic events in crowded, overwhelming, scary places. And I was having acute flashbacks of post traumatic stress as an adult. That was the first time I realized that PTSD had affected me, and I had never gone to war. I'd never been in a flood or a fire, but our family of origin was traumatic. And when you're a little kid, you don't even have a foundation of stability. And there were no grandparents, they were all dead by the time the last one died when I was 9 years old. The first one died when I was 4. I didn't really know him. I saw him like twice, and he was a weird dude. In Camden, New Jersey, my brother and I, very young at the time, he would say, "Don't go down the basement. The boogeyman lives down there." What, are you nuts? Why would any adult say that to a little child? That's insane. So, yes, my mother's father was the first to die. He had been born in 1891, John C. Johnson. And his wife, Mary, she was the next to die within a year, year and a half at most. Apparently, she had a stroke and laid on the floor for 3 days. And the postman finally looked through the window and looked through the window of their row home, which was always as dark as a dungeon. The light can only come through the front and the back anyway. And they had thick curtains and lamps. I believe there were 15 or 20 watts, I guess, to save electricity, to save money or something. It was very awkward the few times that we went to visit them. Anyway, I've got some other stories about my father's parents, but we'll save that for another time. But I was experiencing acute symptoms of post-traumatic stress from my own upbringing as an adult, 1993, walking through Walt Disney World with my children, who happened to be approximately the same ages as me when I experienced those traumatic events. And that's my story, a real life story. Thanks.